Stolen bases used to be risky. Too risky. At the turn of the century, analytics began to find ways to describe exactly how risky. So, for decades, teams stopped running altogether, favoring slugging and on-base percentage instead. But then, in 2023, a major change occurred. New rules, bigger bases, and limited pickoff attempts. And just like that, stolen bases didn't just return, they exploded. But why? What really changed? And are we watching the beginning of baseball's next generation of great speed? Let's break it all down. Back in the 80s, guys like Rickey Henderson and Vince Coleman turned stealing into an art form. But by the 2000s, that era was gone. Teams got smarter. They realized unless you were stealing at a 75% success rate or higher, the chance of getting thrown out actually hurt your team's run expectancy more than it helped. So, they stopped trying. From 2012 to 2022, league-wide stolen base attempts declined every single season. Until 2023. The 2023 rule changes changed everything. 3 simple changes completely rewired the risk-reward equation. First, we had bigger bases. MLB increased base sizes from 15 inches to 18 inches, cutting the distance between the bases by 4.5 inches. Pickoff limits. Pitchers are now only allowed 2 pickoff attempts per plate appearance without consequence. On the third, if they don't pick the runner off, it's a balk and the runner advances. And third, the pitch clock and pace. With pitchers working faster, runners can now time their jumps better. These tweaks may each seem small on their own, but they added up in a massive way. Here's how the numbers shifted. In 2022, there were 2,486 stolen base attempts. After the rule change in 2023, there were 3,503 attempts, a 41% increase. In 2023, the stolen base success rate jumped up to 80.2%, the highest since the 1980s. For context, the break-even point for a successful steal is around 75%. At 80%, stealing now becomes a positive expected value play. In 2024 and 2025, the trend has continued. Teams are still running more. Success rates are still holding above that 78 to 80% threshold. And speed is no longer a niche. It's part of the new winning formula. Thanks to that successful rate jump, the math has now changed. Moving from first to second base with no outs adds 0.3 runs to your team's expected total in that inning. With 1 out, still a net gain, as long as the success rate stays high. For the first time in decades, stealing bases actually boosts your offensive reliability, not just chaos, but a predictable strategy. Before 2023, you pretty much needed elite sprint speed, think 29 to 30 feet per second, to be a threat on the base paths. But now, with the rule changes, that bar has shifted. With these new rules, even players in the 26 to 28 foot per second range, which is around league average, can swipe bags at high success rates. Why? The shorter distance between bases shaves off crucial fractions of a second. Pitchers are now limited on how they can hold runners, and timing, jumps, and reads are more important than real raw speed. It's opened the door for players who previously wouldn't have gotten the green light. Now, if you're smart and efficient, you don't have to be blazing fast, just above average and aggressive. Let's talk about the guys turning this into a weapon. We have Corbin Carroll with 50-plus steals and elite OBP. Ronald Acuna, 70 steals with 40 homers. That's an MLB caliber season. Esteury Ruiz quietly led the AL in steals with pure bursts. And Elly De La Cruz turning sprint speed into terror on the base paths. Teams like the D-backs, Reds, Rays, and Guardians are all pushing the envelope with aggressive base running and deep athletic rosters. Even teams not built on speed are using bench players as late-inning runners, because the risk is now finally worth it. Let's compare some league-wide totals. Here's a look at total stolen bases per season. In 2019, just over 2,200. In 2022, almost 2,500. After the rule change in 2023, we had 3,500, and in 2024, over 3,600. That's nearly a 50% increase in just 2 seasons. For comparison, the last time MLB topped 3,500 stolen bases was in 1997. league-wide stolen base success rate hasn't been over 80% since the early 80s, until now. In the 2024 individual leaders, names like Ronald Acuna Jr., Ellie De La Cruz, and C.J. Abrams are going to appear again here in 2025. Several players are projected 40-plus stolen bases, something that used to happen once or twice a season before this rule change. This isn't just a fluke year, it's a sustained shift, and the numbers prove it. However, pitchers and catchers are adapting as well. Pitchers know that they're being hunted, so they're adjusting, varying their time more, within the rules of course, speeding up slide steps, and being selective about their throws to first. Catchers? Well, they're going to have to work overtime on their pop time, release mechanics, and their accuracy to the bag. The average pop time in 2025 is the fastest it's ever been, because it has to be. It's not just runners getting smarter, the whole game is changing. What does this mean for roster building? Well, speed-first players used to be luxuries. Now they can be used as strategic weapons. Teams are keeping guys on the bench specifically just to run. Those defensive replacements with speed have even more value, and players with 80-grade sprint speed can carve out roles even without elite bat skills. This could be the return of the specialist era, not just sluggers and flamethrowers, but true speed demons as roster necessities. So, is this a new era or just a phase? The big question, will this stick or will teams adjust and write the game back? For now, the rules have changed, and until pitchers and catchers can solve this riddle, stealing bases might be one of the smartest plays in baseball. Speaking of smart baseball, whether you're a high school or a college player, or just curious about your own mechanics, check out Pitch Logic, the smart baseball that tracks throwing velocity, spin rate, and pitch movement, all right here on your phone. Check out the link at the top of the description to learn more. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, check out our videos on run expectancy, the evolution of base running, and how modern roster construction is adapting to new MLB rules. And don't forget to subscribe, check out our merch in the channel store, and let me know down in the comments, are stolen bases here to stay, or will the arms race shut them back down? We'll see you next time on Simple Sabermetrics.